The taxi drops me off at the end of Maple Street. I stand there for a moment, my suitcase beside me, staring at the row of neat suburban homes. Everything looks smaller than I remember. 5 years can change so much, but this neighborhood seems frozen in time. The same trimmed hedges, the same porch swings, the same American dream packaging. My name is Elena Martinez. I'm 29 years old and I've come home to take back what's mine. 5 houses down on the right is where they live now. My sister Vanessa and Daniel, my ex-fiancé. In my childhood home. The home that should have been mine to inherit. The home where they now raise their 3-year-old daughter, the little girl who might have been mine in another life. I adjust my sunglasses and check my reflection in my phone. Gone is the soft, trusting girl with flowing brown hair and eager eyes. My hair is cut in a sharp bob now, dyed a deep black. I've lost the baby fat in my cheeks. Years of hurt and planning have sculpted me into someone harder, someone focused. Someone they won't recognize until it's too late. I take a deep breath and start walking. Mrs. Peterson is watering her roses next door. She squints at me, trying to place my face. I give her a polite nod but keep moving. I'm not here for reunions or small talk. I'm here for justice. 5 years ago I was 24 and thought I had everything figured out. I had a marketing degree, a job offers from a good firm, and a fiancé who looked at me like I hung the moon. Daniel and I had been together since junior year of college. He proposed under the stars at the lake house where we first said, "I love you." I thought our love story was perfect. I was wrong. My sister Vanessa was always the wild one. 2 years younger than me, she was the rebel while I was the responsible one. While I studied hard and built a stable future, she partied, dropped out of community college, and cycled through toxic relationships. Our parents worried constantly about her, and I was the one who always stepped in to help clean up her messes. That spring, Vanessa had just broken up with her latest boyfriend and needed a place to stay. Daniel and I were saving for our wedding, living in a cramped apartment, but I couldn't turn my sister away. I never thought having her sleep on our couch would destroy everything. The signs were there looking back. The way she'd touch his arm when laughing. How she'd accidentally walk from the bathroom to the guest room in just a towel when he was home. How she'd make little comments that undermined me. "Elena always plays it so safe, doesn't she?" Or, "My sister never could handle her drinks like I can." I was working late hours at my new job, coming home exhausted. They were spending time together. Innocent enough, I thought. My fiancé and my sister becoming friends. Why would I suspect anything else? Then came the night of my company's big product launch. I had worked weeks on the campaign and the event was a huge success. My boss told me I could leave early, so I decided to surprise Daniel at home. Maybe we could celebrate with a nice dinner. The surprise was mine when I opened our apartment door and found them together on our couch. The couch we had picked out together at IKEA. The couch where we'd planned our wedding. I stood there frozen, my work bag sliding from my shoulder and hitting the floor with a thud. That's when they noticed me. What followed was chaos. Shouting. Crying. Denials that quickly turned to blame. "It just happened, Elena," Daniel said, his eyes pleading. It didn't mean anything. But it was Vanessa's response that cut deepest. "You're always so busy with work," she said, wrapping herself in my throw blanket. "You never make time for him. What did you expect?" I left that night with just the clothes on my back. Checked into a hotel and turned off my phone. I needed space to think, to breathe, to figure out what to do next. I never expected what came after. When I turned my phone back on 3 days later, I had dozens of missed calls. Not just from Daniel and Vanessa, but from my parents, our mutual friends, even my boss. I called my mother first. "Elena, thank God," she said when she answered. "We've been so worried. Are you taking your medication?" My medication? I hadn't been on any medication since a brief period of anxiety treatment during college finals years ago. "What are you talking about, Mom?" What unfolded over that call shattered whatever was left of my heart. While I was offline, Vanessa and Daniel had crafted a story where I was unstable, delusional, prone to paranoid episodes. They claimed I'd been off my meds for months, growing increasingly erratic and jealous. They said I'd invented the affair in my head and had threatened to harm myself when confronted with reality. They'd gone to my parents with this story, to our friends, even to my workplace, expressing concern about my mental state. Daniel said, "You've been imagining things at work too," my mother continued, her voice tight with worry. "That you think your coworkers are conspiring against you." "None of that is true," I said, my voice shaking. "They're lying, Mom. I caught them together. In our apartment." The silence on the other end told me everything. "Honey," she finally said, "why don't you come home? Dad and I are worried. We can help you get the help you need." They didn't believe me. My own parents didn't believe me. When I went to work the next day, my boss called me into her office. There was concern about my behavior. They needed me to take some time off. Seek help. They'd reassess my position later. In the span of a week, I had lost my fiancé, my sister, my parents' trust, and now my dream job. All because two people I loved decided their happiness was worth more than mine. That night, I made a decision. If no one would believe the truth, I would leave. Start over somewhere else. But I promised myself, someday I would return. And when I did, I would have a plan. I moved to Chicago. Found a tiny studio apartment and a job at a small marketing agency. I started therapy, not because I was delusional as they claimed, but because betrayal of this magnitude leaves wounds that need professional help to heal. My therapist, Dr. Winters, helped me understand what had happened. "What your sister and fiancé did is called gaslighting," she explained. "They're manipulating everyone to question your reality so they don't have to face consequences for their actions." For the first year, I was merely surviving. I would wake up, go to work, come home, and cry myself to sleep. I changed my phone number and created new social media accounts under a different name. I needed clean boundaries. But information still trickled in. My one true friend from home, Rachel, would update me occasionally. 6 months after I left, Daniel and Vanessa moved into my parents' old house. The house that my grandmother had paid for. The house that was supposed to come to me someday as the eldest daughter. "Your parents decided to retire early and move to Florida," Rachel told me. "They sold the house to them at well below market value, as a starter home for the young couple. 3 months later, they announced Vanessa was pregnant. My parents were ecstatic about becoming grandparents. The ultimate seal of approval on the relationship built on betraying me. On what would have been my wedding day, Rachel sent me a photo by mistake. Vanessa and Daniel cutting a cake at their engagement party. Vanessa was wearing a dress that looked suspiciously like the one I had been saving for. Each new revelation felt like ripping open a wound that had just started to heal. But slowly something inside me changed. The pain began to harden into purpose. I stopped crying and started planning. I worked harder than ever, impressing my bosses and earning promotion after promotion. I saved every extra penny. I studied contract law at night. I made strategic friendships with people who knew about real estate, finance, and business acquisitions. All while keeping tabs on Daniel's family business, a chain of furniture stores his father had built from nothing. The business Daniel had taken over 2 years ago when his father retired. The business that was now struggling, according to Rachel. "They've overextended," she told me last month. "Opened 3 new locations too quickly. The word around town is they're looking for investors just to make payroll." That was the moment I knew it was time to go back. Not as Elena the victim, but as Elena the victor. My first stop isn't my old house. It's the law office of William Chin, an old college classmate who's now the most aggressive business attorney in our hometown. "So you want to buy out your ex-fiance's family business," he says, leaning back in his chair. "Without him knowing it's you behind the offer." "Exactly," I reply. "Can it be done?" William smiles. "We both know it can. Shell corporations exist for reasons just like this." "And once you own controlling interest?" he asks. "I'll decide if the business is worth saving," I say simply, "or if it needs new management." Over the next 2 weeks, I set my plan in motion. I rent a house on the other side of town under my new legal name, Elena Reyes. I've been using my mother's maiden name since Chicago. I set up meetings with local business leaders, introducing myself as a successful marketing executive looking to invest locally. I even dye my hair blonde and start wearing colored contacts. Amazing how a few simple changes can make you unrecognizable to people who aren't really looking. On day 15, I accidentally run into my mother at the grocery store. She's in town visiting the granddaughter I've never met. Excuse me, I say, bumping my cart into hers. Then I pause, letting recognition slowly dawn on my face. Mom. She stares at me, confusion turning to shock. Elena? Is that you? I've rehearsed this moment countless times. I keep my voice level, my smile pleasant but distant. Yes, it's me. I've moved back to town. Started a new business venture. You look different, she says, studying my face. 5 years will do that, I reply coolly. How are you and Dad? The conversation is painfully stiff. She asks if I'm doing better now. I assure her I'm completely fine and have been for years. She mentions Vanessa and Daniel and little Sophia repeatedly, watching my face for signs of distress. I give her nothing. You should come over for dinner, she finally says. Everyone would love to see you. Clear the air. This is exactly what I wanted. An invitation into their world. That would be nice, I lie. How about this Sunday? As I walk away, I can already imagine her frantically calling Vanessa. The panic my return will cause. They thought I was gone forever. They thought wrong. Sunday dinner is exactly the performance I expected. My parents have driven up from Florida specially. They're walking on eggshells, watching every interaction like they're waiting for me to explode. Vanessa hugs me too tightly, her voice artificially high. Elena, we've missed you so much. Daniel can barely meet my eyes as he shakes my hand. Welcome home. My niece Sophia is beautiful, dark curls in her father's eyes. For a moment, something twists in my chest looking at her. In another life, she might have been my daughter. But I push the thought away. She's innocent in all this. Throughout dinner, they perform the role of the perfect family. Vanessa plays the devoted wife and mother. Daniel the successful businessman and father. My parents beam with pride at what a lovely family they've created. I play my role too, the prodigal daughter returned, humbled and healed. I apologize for how things ended before I left. I tell them therapy has helped me gain perspective. I can see the relief in their eyes. They think I've bought into their version of events. That I've accepted the role of the mentally unstable sister who needed to go away to get better. After dessert, when Sophia is put to bed, Daniel brings out drinks. A toast, he says, to family reunited. I raise my glass with a smile, all while knowing what awaits him at work tomorrow morning. A meeting with his bank about the surprise buyer of his company's debt. A buyer who now controls his financial future. The real confrontation won't happen here, surrounded by my enabling parents and the facade of happy families. It will happen in boardrooms and through legal documents. Through the systematic dismantling of everything they built on the foundation of their betrayal. But for now I smile and sip my wine. To family, I echo. And to getting exactly what you deserve. Daniel calls me 2 days later, his voice frantic. Elena, I need to talk to you. Please. We meet at a coffee shop downtown. He looks terrible, like he hasn't slept in days. Good. Someone's bought all our debt, he says without preamble. They're threatening to call in the loans unless I sell them controlling interest in the company. I take a sip of my latte. That sounds stressful. It's everything my father built, he continues, running his hands through his hair. Everything I was going to pass down to Sophia someday. Just like my childhood home was supposed to be passed down to me. Why are you telling me this? I ask, keeping my voice neutral. He hesitates. I thought, maybe your new business contacts. You mentioned at dinner you were doing well in Chicago. But he thinks I might help him. Invest in his failing business. Save what he and my sister stole. Daniel, I say, leaning forward, do you remember the night I caught you with my sister? He flinches. Elena, that was years ago. We've all moved on. Have we? I place my cup down carefully. You and Vanessa didn't just take each other. You took my reputation. My relationship with my parents. My inheritance. My future. You made everyone believe I was crazy so you wouldn't have to admit you were cruel. Understanding dawns slowly on his face. The investor. It's you? I smile. Technically, it's a holding company. But yes, I'm calling the shots now. What are you going to do? His voice is barely a whisper. I haven't decided yet, I answer truthfully. But I want you to live with the same uncertainty you forced on me 5 years ago. When you took everything from me, you never considered I might come back stronger. I stand up to leave, but he grabs my wrist. Please, he begs. If not for me, then for Sophia. For your sister. My sister, I repeat slowly, removing his hand from my arm. The one who slept with my fiancé and then convinced my family I was mentally ill? That sister. I lean down so we're eye to eye. Here's what's going to happen, Daniel. You're going to go home and tell Vanessa everything. You're going to tell my parents too. The whole truth this time. How you lied. How you gaslit me. How you stole my life and my inheritance. And then you're going to wait for my decision about the business. And if I don't? He asks, a hint of defiance returning. Then I'll call in all the loans tomorrow and you'll lose everything by the end of the week. I straighten up. Your choice. That night my phone explodes with messages. From my mother, desperate and confused. From my father, angry and defensive. From Vanessa, alternating between apologies and accusations. I turn my phone off and sleep better than I have in 5 years. In the morning I call William Chin. Have you decided what you want to do with the business? He asks. I've been thinking about this moment for years, imagining the satisfaction of destroying what they built together. Of taking everything from them the way they took everything from me. But now that the moment is here, I realize something important. True power isn't about destruction. It's about choice. I want to restructure, I tell William. Daniel stays on but with reduced authority and salary. And I want a trust established for Sophia's future education. One that neither Daniel nor Vanessa can touch. That's unexpectedly merciful, William comments. Is it mercy? Maybe. Or maybe it's just that I don't want to become what they were. Someone who destroys others for personal gain. That afternoon I visit my childhood home for the first time. Vanessa answers the door, eyes red from crying. We told them everything, she says quietly. Mom and Dad are devastated. They should be, I reply, stepping past her into the house. Looks different now. Toys scattered about, photographs of their family on the walls. A house filled with the life that should have been mine. In the living room, Daniel sits with his head in his hands. My parents are on the sofa looking shell-shocked. Elena, my father begins. We didn't know. I hold up my hand. Yes, you did. You chose not to believe me because it was easier to think I was unstable than to accept that your perfect younger daughter was capable of betrayal. My mother starts crying. We're so sorry. I didn't come for apologies, I tell them. I came to set terms. I explain my decision about the business. How Daniel will keep his job but answer to my appointed CEO. How Vanessa will find employment elsewhere. Nepotism is no longer acceptable. How they can keep living in this house, but it will be transferred into a trust for Sophia that I control. You're not destroying us? Vanessa asks, confusion evident. No, I say simply. That would make me like you. I look around at the family that discarded me, that chose comfortable lies over difficult truth. They look diminished now, their perfect facade cracked beyond repair. I came back not just for revenge, I tell them, but to reclaim my power. To show myself that I could face you all and not break. That I could have the upper hand and choose something better than cruelty. I turn to leave but pause at the door. I'll never trust any of you again. But for Sophia's sake, I'm willing to build something new from the ashes of what we were. The choice to be part of that is yours. As I walk back to my car, I feel pounds lighter. 5 years of pain and planning, and in the end, the most powerful revenge wasn't taking everything from them. It was showing them I had become someone who could have destroyed them but chose not to. My name is Elena Martinez. I'm 29 years old. And I've finally taken back the only thing that really matters. Myself. Thank you for listening to this story. If you have been inspired, please like this video and drop a comment on what you would have done if this was your challenge. And please do not forget to subscribe to this channel for daily revenge stories coming your way on this channel. Thank you.